Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Meeple People podcast, episode 2. My name is Sam.
And my name is Jamie. Hello there.
And today we're going to be talking about Christmas games, things we played over our time away with our families.
Not necessarily Christmas-themed games, just
things we've been playing
over the Christmas period.
But first,
a little bit of news.
Hit the theme tune.
Hello there. Asmodee, one of the biggest board game companies in the world.
By far.
Pretty much everyone. I think it might just be Hasbro. They might not own in the big ones.
I don't know.
I don't know. But Asmodee are now, I don't want to say leaping on the bandwagon, but they're following the current trend of escape rooms that are popping up all over around the world.
Cool.
They're making their own escape room board games.
Okay.
A new series called Unlock.
So this is coming straight from Asmodee as a publisher?
This is coming from Asmodee themselves, not a subsidiary. Each box of Unlock contains 3 room escape games of a different theme, but similar mechanics.
Cool. So have they announced how many boxes they're doing? Is it kind of like a blind buy type system? You buy a box and you don't know what's in it?
It says, this is according to Dice Tower News, your first for all board gaming news.
Not that we're sponsored in any way to say that.
Not at all. It's just, they're the best news source we find.
However, Tom Vassal, if you want to give us money, we're happy.
We love you, Papa Tom Vassal. The first box of Unlock will contain 3 scenarios. The Formula, Squeak and Sausage, and The Island of Dr. Gourse.
I really want to play Squeak and Sausage.
It sounds amazing. The picture for it looks... If Sam can see that, I know this is great.
Oh, wow.
Radio.
It's like a big, creepy yellow submarine clown.
Yeah, it's a yellow submarine clown doctor, and there's a mouse holding a large sausage, which running on what looks like a barbecue.
I'm sold. So you get these 3 games in this one box.
Different theme, but similar mechanics. So, in each scenario box, according to this, simply a deck of 60 numbered cards and a few cards labelled as start cards.
Oh, okay.
The game, you will read and flip over the start card, which will give you other numbers in the deck to pull out, indicating things you'll find around the room. So I guess the numbered cards. Items you will find will either be blue or red, and you can combine blue and red items together to try and unlock chests, solve puzzles, and find new items to use in your escape.
Cool. Yeah, this sounds good.
Yeah. Finding out how they actually go together is simple. Add the numbers on the card together, and if that card number exists...
So it's just a card game,
it seems
essentially?
to be, yes.
Okay.
Which I think is quite good.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've played an escape room board game a couple of months ago. A couple of friends bought it. I can't remember the name it's from. I think it was called Escape from Stargazer Manor.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed it. You know, but it was...
See, last couple of weeks ago, I played an escape room.
Oh, all right. Where was that?
In the city centre of Edinburgh.
Okay.
I don't know what company. I think there's about 3 in the city. We just went with the one we found online. And it was a space station scenario. We were all on the space station. We had to get off before another wave of asteroids hit us. And we were in a space shuttle.
That sounds awesome.
And... it was really good. So there's 6 of us, which I think was a maximum party for the adventure, and you're given an hour. And what I really enjoyed about it was I was really worried going into it that there'd be this kind of alpha gamer type
mentality.
Type mentality where one person would kind of take control of the whole room and say, "Why are you doing that? This is obviously the answer," or "We need to be doing this, not this." And actually, as you go into it, so there's 8 things you need to find and fix on the space station. Is the idea to finally set off and get back to Earth. And you can complete those in any order you want. Because I thought it was going to be, okay, we've done this, now we have to go on to this one, now we have to go on to this one. But the way it was laid out, and obviously it's just a room, you know, with lots of things all over the place, with padlocks on doors and lots of books lying around and things to read and find clues
Lots
to.
of things to interact with, but you still have to work out.
But the way they did it, because everything could be solved in whatever order you wanted it to be solved in, we all went off to our own individual corners of the room. really.
Yeah.
Some people like buddied up and went to a puzzle, or I found a load of padlocks that needed 3-digit combinations.
Yeah.
So I was just going around through all the literature and things, finding a lot of things had like highlighted numbers and stuff. So piecing together those, and that was kind of my thing I was doing.
Yeah.
So you found people doing their own things and never actually doing that alpha gamerness to it, which I thought helped greatly. And was really
That
good.
sounds excellent. And
great.
obviously, yeah, I just want to press and don't want to say too much in case people are going to go to that one. And, you don't want to spoil it. I mean, of course, they change it around every now and again, but still.
I don't know.
I mean, I went to one in Glasgow about a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so much that. It was more, there was a slightly more linear progression to go through. And I don't know if it kind of almost turned into that alpha gamer thing, just through necessity. It was some of us that were there didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Or were there because they wanted to be with friends and stuff, which is fine. But they were kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to sit here and enjoy that. Some people were like, I know what I'm doing. Some people were forcing one or two others out the way, kind of going.
No, I can see that happen. And actually, when we went into our room and people did find something to do, there was about 2-3 minutes where I was kind of walking around thinking, what am I doing right now? Like, to help, I'm not really doing anything. Let's just find something I can be getting on with. Yeah. But we had a really good time. You gave it an hour.
Yep.
We completed it in 36 minutes.
Nice one.
Which we were really proud of.
We got 51. 50 we were.
Suck.
But to be fair, we skipped a part.
Okay.
Like, there was a lockbox, and one person in our party managed to get the thing that was in the box out without unlocking it. No, there was a TV. Yeah, I know. I'm still not sure how they did it. There was a TV in the room where the guy who was watching could send us like hints and clues and stuff. And it popped up. I don't know how you've done it, but you've managed to skip a step. I'm just like, yeah.
Oh,
and even that didn't help us. We were still 51 minutes.
But I think this whole escape room thing coming to, it's getting rather big, in a very much kind of RPG, role-playing, gamey, actual life sense, almost like a LARP type scenario.
In some ways,
On mobile gaming, I know there's tons of stuff on like iPads and things, which is essentially escape the room things, where you just kind of like a point-and-click adventure. Really, you're just going around trying to get out of these scenarios.
I mean, the game I was playing, the little board game that came out, I found it now. It's called Escape the Room: A Mystery at the Stargazer's Manor.
Okay, can I see the box?
Yes, you
can.
can.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so inside there's basically a lot of sealed envelopes almost with things on them. So it's things like the dressing table and like the bookcase and stuff. And inside there is clues. There's clues. There's items. A little kind of physical puzzle you might have to do and solve. And that'll lead you. You've got a solution wheel. Like, do you ever play Secret of Monkey Island 2?
No, I haven't.
There's a physical copy of like a dial-up pirate wheel.
Cool.
It was for copy protection, but it was a similar thing to this. There was 3 or 4, and you had to twist it around the symbols that you found to what you thought was the correct combination. Nice. And if it came up a certain kind of thing, you solved that one. And it was. It was all right. It was good fun. I mean, it's
just something different, I think. And that's what's intriguing me about the Asmodee thing as well. Because that one there is very much, you've got things representing a room, you've got like physical things. But the way the Asmodee ones...
You had to do that again in a certain order. Yeah. Which is I quite like the one that you were saying, the sound of it, the fact that it was, for want of a better phrase, non-linear.
Yeah, completely. And that's why I really enjoyed
this one and the one I did in Glasgow, which I did enjoy. I mean, it was great fun and kind of going, wow, they came up with that? That's amazing. But the linearity was kind of, right, okay, let's get this sorted and we can get completely stumped. Yeah. And it did mean that there were about 8 of us, maybe 10 of us doing this. And it was just, some of us were doing it, some people were just focusing on it, other people were outside going, I'm not getting a chance to get a look in, but there's nothing, either they couldn't do anything because they didn't want to, or they felt like their contributions were going to go unheeded because people were louder or more intense.
So the Asmodee one intrigues me again because it's a card game, so I'm interested to see what happens there. It's definitely something I might keep an eye on, look at some reviews when that comes out. Is there a date on when that does come out, or is it kind of they've announced it?
Second quarter of 2017. This might be America, though, so...
Okay.
By the way, second quarter 2017. My issue always with these kind of things, I think it's my issue with legacy games as well, is replayability.
Yeah. No, completely. Because I completely got the thing from when I did the physical escape room is, well, that one's kind of done now.
Yeah.
It's like, would I ever do that again?
I mean,
No.
I assume they will change the things up every couple of months or something like that.
I'd hope they would. I don't know if they do. But again, with this, yeah, you are buying a box of cards, which you can only really do once. Something I'm very interested in doing is Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective.
Yes, I'd love to do that.
But I'm very aware that that's, I think it's 8 scenarios, something like that, that once it's done...
It's done.
You've done that. So is it...
But then again, same thing, Pandemic Legacy, but people are absolutely loving that. I mean, I've heard of people playing it 2 or 3 times, but that's because they've had so much fun with it, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my particular bugbear. If I play one of these games, I might go, that's fine, I might have enjoyed that, and I don't want to do it anymore. I should speak to some of my friends, actually. The friends who I literally did it with have started almost like a team, and they go around doing these escape rooms.
All right.
So I'll speak to them more about it, and I'll find out more.
Next news piece.
It's just past a festive time, no matter what your
It is indeed.
denomination.
Happy Winter Festival.
Happy New Year to everyone. Not Chinese New Year, not yet. Although, if you are listening to this and it is Chinese New Year, Happy Chinese New Year.
Whatever year it might be.
Whatever year it might be. Of course, it was Christmas, but also Hanukkah. Now, I know this was talked about in certain places before, but you're aware of the dreidel, the little
Yes.
spinning top, traditional around Hanukkah time. I know, I'm not great with it.
Carry on.
A man by the name of Eric Pavoni, might be saying that wrong, Pavoni,
Mm-hmm.
is kickstarting a Spinagogue, the dedicated dreidel area, or dreidel spinning stadium.
Please tell me more.
It's a table. It says it's now a tabletop game of skill, played competitively and socially by spinners of all ages. No gelt, no glory.
If I'm correct, the board's in the shape of the Star of David.
Pretty much. Yes.
Pretty much, like exactly.
Exactly. Yes.
So this is Kickstarter at the moment, or has been backed?
No, it is Kickstarter at the moment. As of time of recording, it has 21 days to go, and it's about $14,500 pledged.
It's 3,000 off.
Yeah, only 3,000 off.
With 21 days to go. Well, that's going to happen. Okay, so you each get a tiny little dreidel, and it's essentially Beyblades.
The object of the game is to spin the dreidel longer than your opponent. Longer pertaining to the length of time the dreidel spins from the release to the finish. From the moment the dreidel leaves your fingers to the moment it comes to a complete rest on its side.
But the idea is they hit each other and
they're going to
it's
bounce off.
Beyblade.
Yeah, it's going to be Beyblades. A lot simpler.
Cool.
Yeah, it sounds simple.
Okay.
Simple, interesting, and kind of fun. And there's lots of different versions. There's spinnings. It's like dreidel baseball. There's target tops, which is a spin on the classic boardwalk game of skee ball. I don't know what skee ball actually is.
I don't know.
Dueling dreidels is a full contact spinning showdown where anything can happen. When a spinner possesses the magic dreidel, it's them versus the entire spinagogue.
This is amazing.
And there's traditional dreidel. Whilst Spinagogue takes pride in its many modern and exciting dreidel games, it recognises that none of them would be possible without the original.
There's a league dreidel competition.
Is there?
This already exists, mate. This is amazing.
Oh, wow.
They've been doing this
Uh-huh.
for a few years, and now they're basically just bringing it to
To the world.
a market, yeah.
I'm really tempted.
Well, that is something to look out for, I suppose,
Yeah,
if you're Jewish or not.
I think
Spinagogue,
I don't think
probably coming your way soon.
I don't think it matters. What do you know?
That's why I said Jewish or not.
I know. It looks like, a nice little twist on a more traditional game, and almost an update.
If they reach $36,000, their stretch goal is a golden dreidel.
Ooh.
Not real gold, I don't think. Anyway, oh wait, I don't know.
I'm sure.
It does say it weighs 3 ounces. I think it may be a golden dreidel.
A golden dreidel. Wow.
Well, that's one to look out for.
Yeah, no, sure, absolutely.
So, the main segment of the show today is we're going to be talking about the games that we've played over Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Let's.
Did you have a nice Christmas, Tom? Sam?
I did indeed. Did you?
Yeah, it was all right. It was me, my mum, and my aunt and uncle.
Nice.
My mum's sister and her husband.
So shall we just crack on with
Yes.
the show, I suppose?
The show, yeah. This is the main part. Now you've got the news out the way.
So, we live in Edinburgh at the moment, but you respectively live in...
I come from Glasgow.
Back to Glasgow, and I go back to Bath in the south of England. So, something for me, every time I kind of go back that way, is what can I take? Can I take a big box game? Do I just... Something I very often do is take a big box, but actually just empty that game out and put as many games as I can in that box.
That's a very, very good idea, actually.
War of the Ring is a very good box to store a lot of games in. This year I couldn't really do that because presents and things and just having to take clothes down. I was going down for 2 weeks. So this year I only took 2 games with me. I took Love Letter.
Excellent.
And Sushi Go.
Oh, very good.
And we had a good time with it.
Good time with it. Good.
What did you manage? Well, you're much closer. So what did you take across?
If anyone is on the Facebook page, they might have seen what I took back. I'm similar. I may not be flying down, but I've got a limited thing because I've got to carry clothes for me and the girlfriend, presents and everything. So
and you're going on a train, I suppose, or a bus?
We were going on a bus. It's a lot cheaper. It is. I took back this year. I took back Jamaica.
Very good game.
One of my favourite games. I took back
quite a large box.
Average size box. I would say an average size box. I took back Rhino Hero.
Very good game.
Very good.
I almost bought it when I was down. I saw it in a bookshop and was like, it was £8, and I really...
Rhino Hero, as far as I'm concerned, for me, it's one of the best things I can... I've spent £8
for
on
your
a board
money,
game.
it's the best thing, I think.
For anyone that hasn't played Rhino Hero is, I can put it very simply, like reverse Jenga.
Yes.
So you have a hand of cards, which are roof tiles. They've got silhouettes of shapes, I guess.
Yeah.
Basically, it's right angles. And you've also got a little pile of wall tiles, I believe they're called.
Yeah,
which are basically little right angles made of card.
2 walls of a house.
Yeah,
really.
2 walls of a house. And basically, on your turn, you place these wall tiles down on the silhouettes of the face-up roof card. Set them up. And then you play one of your roof cards from your hand. Slowly, you're building up a tall structure, a building.
Little tower.
Yeah. And you've got abilities like people can miss a go, people can take extra cards. One of them is there's a little wooden figure of the Rhino Hero. It's a wonderful looking rhino
Meeple,
superhero.
really.
Yeah, it's a little rhino Meeple. You pick them up and you put them on the space indicated on that card. Now, it might be the first time it's placed down, you take it just from the table, put it on it. But whenever another one is played, you take the rhino from...
Because he stays on the structure.
Oh, he does. He does
you
not
put him
move
on,
at all.
and then you just continue playing.
And you have to just take the rhino out from wherever he is on the tower, and you put him, generally, on the top. And as this game gets higher and higher, obviously things get much more precarious. Not all the roof cards are going to be the same. You're going to have some that are very stable. You're going to have some going diagonally. You might even get one diagonal roof card, which makes things very, very wobbly indeed.
And every time I've played it, it's been a great game. I really especially like it just 2-player.
Yeah.
I think it works really well. So this is a harbour game. Harbour. And as it's like £8.
It is like 7 or 8 quid. Honestly, I will urge you, if you take anything away from today, I would urge you to buy Rhino Hero.
And no, every time I've played it, I've really, really enjoyed it. Rhino Hero is great. It's a great, for your money, games are expensive. I know that if you're in the hobby and things, £30 might actually be a vaguely cheap, reasonably priced game. But actually, when something for £8 comes up and it's this good,
jump at it.
It's something special.
Yeah.
Rhino Hero is a great game.
Rhino Hero, major thumbs up from me. So yeah, I took Jamaica, I took Rhino Hero. I also took a game called Age of War. It's a little card game, Reiner Knizia card game.
I have Age of War.
Yeah, my friends got it for me last year.
Again, another tiny game. I think it's about £10. Might be 15 now. I don't know. But it's a cheap little game.
It's brilliant. I've taken it back. This is one I've taken back a fair few times, just mainly because of size.
I think the way I'd describe it is it's a push your luck dice game.
Absolutely.
The idea is you're in feudal Japan. You're warring over castles is the theme, and territories of Japan.
I'll say it seems like it's set during the Sengoku Jidai, which is the big interclan war for the, I guess the first, like for the emperorship. I don't know what's the word, but in charge of it. And so basically,
We're not just board games.
Yeah,
with deep history. Who knew?
History, Sengoku Jidai, and the clans. The cards you have are castles owned in different provinces by different clans. So you've got 3 or 4 owned by the Tokugawa clan. You've got 4 owned by the Oda clan. You've got the Chosokabe.
And to claim each of these houses, each of these castles, you have to roll a hand of, I think it's 7 dice.
You roll a hand of 7 dice.
And you have to basically essentially match symbols.
Yeah, fill up what in the game it's called fill up the battle lines.
Yeah.
So on one, there's maybe about 3 or 4 potentially on a card. The top one might be you need.
And it's worth noting that they're custom dice.
Yes, they're custom.
So they've got different symbols on them.
You've got 1
not
sword,
just ones,
2 swords, 3 swords, a horse, a bow, and a daimyo's helmet.
And they are all D6s. Mm-hmm. And the idea is you roll the dice, and then from that roll that you get, you have to dedicate your rolling to one particular house card. And once you put dice towards that card, you can't change your mind. You have to keep pushing your luck and going for that. And now if you roll the dice again and trying to fill up another battle line, they call it, a set of symbols on that card, and you don't get it, you have to minus a dice from the pool. So your dice pool gets lower and lower until basically you look at the odds and think, well, I can't roll this anymore. It's not going to happen.
Because the thing is, they're on the table. Once you take a castle, it doesn't mean it can't be taken.
No.
Makes sense. Because when you roll the dice, you look at what you have and immediately decide either you're going to take one from the table,
or you're going to steal.
Yes. If you steal, you're going to have to take all of them, all the battle lines, because there's one that only is filled up if you're attacking another player.
And so it's harder to steal things. There's 1 extra symbol you need to roll to steal something from someone. But the way this works is there's, say, 3 cards per house that you can claim.
Say that, yeah.
There's a few sets that you can claim. Mm-hmm. Once you own the whole set, that is locked down. That is yours. And it's worth more points when you have the whole set. But until you've got the whole set, people can steal things from you.
The last game I played, it was 2 of my friends in Edinburgh. It's the first time I've ever played a 3-player game. Mm-hmm. The one clan that has 4 castles. I had 2. My friend had 1. One of them was in the middle of the table. Mm-hmm. And we knew we were just going to go back and forth on these yellow ones.
Yeah, I think the most people I'd want to play is maybe 3 people. I think I've played a 4-player game, and it does for a small, very simple, repetitive game. 4 players, I've had it go on for longer than I'd like. Okay. You are literally just sat there rolling dice for an hour,
if that, yeah.
And you don't want to be you don't really want to be doing that. No. I think 3 players. This is a really nice small game. 3 players can be over quite quickly.
I would say 3 to 4 would be the best. 2 players is all right, but it's
still enjoyable.
It's absolutely still enjoyable. And the game ends when all of them are taken off
the middle of
the board. So you might have 3 of one, and you're going for that 4th one.
Yeah.
If all of them are taken off the table in the front view, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's Age of War, really. Yeah, that's Age of War. That's a Fantasy Flight game. Reiner Knizia, who's a brilliant designer.
Back catalogue longer than me.
You haven't designed a game, so.
Exactly. Well, no longer than me. Personally.
Possibly.
I am. Quite a tall man.
Okay.
But yeah, so sorry. Age of War, good. Rhino Hero, great. Jamaica, love it.
One thing I found myself doing a lot over this period is it's a bit, it might not be what we really talk about here, but I actually found myself playing a lot of Trivial Pursuit, just because it was there.
Yeah.
And just because it was kind of like, well, we didn't really want to play a game. We still wanted to have a conversation. And actually, you can just doss about playing Trivial Pursuit and it's all right.
Just mess
No,
about.
because the only real game I actually got for Christmas, my brother bought me. You get little standalone versions of Trivial Pursuit. I don't actually own a full set of Trivial Pursuit. You know, I like it, fair enough. It's just going around kind of answering questions, which actually I've got nothing really against. Fair enough, it's not really there as a board game or in the sense that tabletop gaming is today. You know, it's definitely not there in any of those categories, really. But actually, for just walking around a board, answering some questions, it's not too bad.
For killing a bit of time.
Yeah, and it was a recent version of it as well, so actually the questions were relevant.
Oh, good. I think my mum's still got a copy that's Canadian, and it's all about ice hockey, and it's an old copy. I wouldn't know even at the best at times.
But no, one thing my brother got me was standalone Beatles Trivial Pursuit, which
lovely.
for me is right up my street. It was great. And one little house rule we did was, okay, we're going to change roll again to Beatles questions, which the two people I was playing with really didn't enjoy. Because I'd just go to roll again and I'd be racking up all these kind of rolls.
Yeah.
Not that actually answering questions in the game gets you anything. You know, you want to go for those cheese questions.
The cheese wedges.
But yeah, I quite enjoyed playing Trivial Pursuit a lot. However, there was one game we played. Well, we only completed one game of it, and that did last for about 3.5 hours. But that's Trivial Pursuit. Because it's just go around until you get things right. But, you know, we were having some drinks and actually just, chatting in between it and stuff. And hey-ho, it was fine, to be honest.
Okay. Now, the last one I took was Corridor. Little abstract game, 2 to 4 players, living across the board.
I have played this a few times.
I like it for its simplicity and...
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice little tactical game. Yeah. The idea is you've got to get your piece from one end of the board to the other, but everyone's got a certain amount of walls they can place down in front of people to stop.
Or place around,
Yeah, to stop people kind of getting through and having to divert people's paths.
Guess the only rules pretty much are you can't form a complete cut off across the board. There always has to at least be one.
There has to be a way of getting across the board.
Whether that is the exact other way from the other player.
Yeah.
It's legal. It might not be very fair,
but that's the game.
That's the game. But yeah, it's strange, and it's either 2 or 4. There's no 3 player. There's no 1 player.
Okay.
Because it's always got to be some. It's always against someone.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You're
You've always got to
because it's a square board. So if you've got everyone starts in the middle of one side. So if you've got a third player who's starting on a third side, they've got no one to stop them basically. And
would there be a possibility of having a triangle board where you've just got to get to the point on the other side?
Theoretically, that might be quite
cool.
Idea. Yeah.
Well, that's just something.
Yeah, no, and also the fact that there's like 20 tiles.
No, I quite like little abstract.
Yeah,
games.
little abstract. So that was the 4 I got. So you were saying you played Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah, a lot of Trivial Pursuit.
Quite
a bit of Love Letter.
Oh, good. Because I found Love Letter very good. Not with my family. I haven't played with my family, but I'm good with introducing people to games. Also playing.
Yeah, it's a simple game. It was actually my girlfriend's brother said, "Oh, can you bring that game down?" So it was kind of like a recommendation thing. He was like, "Oh, well, can you bring that down? Because I really enjoyed that last time we played it." Yeah. So it's just in a tiny little bag. I've got the Adventure Time version because there's 20 versions of Love Letter, and
there's more coming out, by the way.
Of course there is.
Yeah, I know. I was in Denmark a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was in charge of a group of scouts. It was my old scout group, and I brought Love Letter with me because I thought, we're gonna have a bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I might get a game, and it was like a bit, the entire all of like the group would just kind of stare over our shoulders, kind of going, "Oh, he's got that. Oh, he's gonna play a baron. Oh, he's gonna play a baron. Oh, don't tell him he's got the princess. Oh no, he's got the princess."
Oh, that's good.
It was.
No, I really
I
like
that.
just
just the simplicity. Yeah, as you said the other day, it's kind of like poker.
Mm.
You're kind of guessing it.
You're counting cards in Love Letter. That's literally how you do it.
But even with that one, even with the one you take
out.
out.
Yeah.
Because even with that, and that does change it. But yeah. But
and I just love the simplicity of Love Letter. It's if you don't know it, it's a game that's 16 cards. That's all Love Letter is, and the idea is you're trying to guess what people have in their hand. You kind of want the higher value, but at the same time, having a higher value is it's quite bad for you because it makes you very vulnerable almost for people guessing what you've got.
Quite simply, the game is you have a card in your hand, and it's going to be numbered 1 to 8 with a various ability.
Yeah.
On your turn, you draw a card
and play one of those two.
And play
cards.
one of the cards, and then you just carry out what's on it. And I mean, you might have to guess another player's card. If you guess right, they're out. You might compare cards with the person. The person with the lowest number is out. One might protect you. One might be if you have to discard this if you're holding a particular other card in your hand. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you're choosing to. You have to, which can send things to other players.
Yeah. And what I really like about it is just it's quick to teach.
Oh, yes.
And it's kind of one of those things that because a round lasts
5 minutes, if that.
5 minutes, you play until either the decks run out, and remember the deck's only 16 cards.
15 because you take out one at the beginning of the game.
So it's going to be really,
cards.
It's going to be very quick anyway. And, well, it runs out. The game ends when the deck runs out or everybody's out. And it's only a 4-player game. Yeah. You know, it's 2 to 4 players. So it plays really quickly, and it's the kind of thing where, okay, we played a round. Well, that only took 4 minutes. Let's play again. Let's play again. And really, we found ourselves happily sat there for an hour just playing Love Letter. Mm-hmm. Because it's just such a quick game, and you actually get very competitive about it, and it's just something I really enjoy, and I know I'm always going to be coming back to Love Letter.
Yeah.
Something I found very interesting, and I'm just going to call up now, is I'm pretty sure there has been a deluxe version.
There is, because I got it for my friends for their Christmas.
No
it increases it to 8 players, and there's a bunch of new cards. Don't tell me what they are because
also makes the cards bigger, which I quite like. It's tarot-sized cards now, I believe.
Mm-hmm. They've just done the same citadels.
Oh, I saw there's a reprint, and it looks
larger.
Very pretty as well.
It does.
And so yeah, Love Letter.
Love Letter.
If you like the sound of what we've said and want to take our recommendations, but you might think, oh, Adventure Time or kind of like Barons and Princesses doesn't sound up your street, there's literally anything you want. You can be Batman, you can be Bilbo Baggins, whatever it is.
I'll pull up
Legend of the Five Rings.
Legend of the Five Rings. It's a sort of samurai-based CCG. It is a role-playing game of which I quite like.
There was also a love letter for it.
There's also a love letter for it.
They literally go crazy with Love Letter.
I'll give you some ideas. So, Letters to Santa is one. Christmas-themed game. Love Letter, Kanai Factory Limited Edition. It's the guy who designed it. It's much more almost kind of Japanese traditional looking.
That's quite nice.
Yeah, it looks quite nice. Love Letter, Legend of the Five Rings, we've just talked about. Love Letter, Wedding Edition. You can only get if you're having a wedding. It can be part of the favours. Everyone gets a copy of Love Letter. And there's some...
Is that actually...
That's actually true, yeah.
I'm doing that when I get married. That's amazing.
Munchkin Loot Letter. It's Love Letter with Munchkin. Yeah, there's
The Hobbit.
There's the Hobbit
Batman.
one. There's Batman.
There's an Archer one now.
There is now an Archer one, and
it's called. I think it's called Once You Go Blackmail.
Oh, yes, it is. So yeah, I've got it. Yeah, Archer one.
But it's Love Letter.
And as Adventure Time, of course.
Yeah, and it's a good game.
It's
Buy Love Letter again. It's something like 15 quid. I think one of the themes of today's show is kind of small games.
Small games are good.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, out of the 4 games that I brought to my family house, and my family generally don't play board games, or if they do, it's Monopoly, or it's the Great Game of Britain, which is a kind of trade.
No idea what that is.
I know it's. I've never heard of it anywhere outside my family, and it's a game where you're basically rolling to move around the British Isles in trains, and you've got a hand of cards where you're supposed to get destination cards. You're trying to get to Bath, Stornoway, Edinburgh, and Llandudno, Dodwells, or something like that. And then it's just that, and then go back to London. Simple. But yeah, I managed to get my family playing not only Quarador, which I was amazed at because it's an abstract game, but I also got them playing Rhino Hero. And the best part was they absolutely loved both of them.
Because they're great games.
They are.
And they're really... That's the thing.
I've never seen my aunt so
bringing people into
so
board
vicious
games.
in a game, or so vicious in general.
Bringing in people into board games, I think things need to be small and they need to be easy to learn. That's why I think stuff like Rhino Hero, there's like no rules to it. It's literally just stack things on top of each other. You're building a house of cards.
Stack it and play a card. But the thing is, my aunt also, because my cousin, her partner, they live in Australia. When they come back occasionally, or they go over, they play games with them. And my aunt and uncle were talking about playing Carcassonne.
Yeah.
And they said, we've played a couple of times. We don't really remember the rules because we play it, year gaps at a time.
Yeah, I get you.
That's fair enough. And they did kind of, ask me almost as an afterthought, oh, do you have a copy? And I went, no, but, I know it. I've played it. I really like it. After Christmas, I went away, came back to Edinburgh for a few days, came back to Glasgow, and I found a box sitting on my bed, a present from my aunt and uncle. Opened it, Carcassonne.
Brilliant.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And I think, exactly, that's why it's still a gateway game. Like, this is the thing that's talked about, what are gateway games. And actually, I think Carcassonne still is up there because it's so simple. It's basically, you're just putting tiles down, making essentially a puzzle that just goes together. You're just putting a map pieces down and scoring points here and there very, very simply.
It's very simple.
And anything that can just draw people in from a very affordable side, easy to pick up and play.
Yep.
And really, once you know the rules, you know the rules. There's no real disputing the rules in those kind of games. Whereas,
I beg to differ. Friend of ours. Don't worry, son. A friend of ours.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing Carcassonne with his brother.
Yeah.
Who got super salty about rules regarding... I think he was playing with an expansion.
Is it to do with the field?
No, it wasn't.
No,
although the farmers are the hardest thing, I think, for new players to understand.
I still don't quite understand it.
I understand.
I've played with it like twice.
I understand them. Just because I've thrown them out early as I guess I better do this, and then scored ridiculous points, and I've kind of understood
Yeah.
it. But no, there's a particular expansion which gives you other tiles, and traditionally in Carcassonne, if you put a meeple on a road,
yep,
the road will run from the beginning of a road, so from the beginning of a town to a village.
Yep.
And by that, the road is ended.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was in contention that if you look on the tile, the road looks like it continues to another point. Does it count?
No.
To which my answer would be no.
There's clear kind of little nodes, like the little bridges and stuff that say this is where it finishes, or crossroads and stuff. Yeah.
And I understand where they're coming from, but no, because then you're going to have to spend the entire game looking at tiles going, well, that one it looks like it's going through the village, but it doesn't count. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I got Carcassonne after a throwaway comment made by my aunt. I also got Matt Leacock's Forbidden Desert, which I have not played yet. I have heard very good things about.
I very much enjoy this game. So Matt Leacock is up there as one of my favourite board game designers. Pandemic remains to be just always a great experience. No matter how many times I play Pandemic, I have
no matter how many times you've lost.
Exactly. And it's got to that point where now actually I'm happy to put in those extra Epidemic cards because me and my girlfriend, we've played countless games of Pandemic, and actually we've got to that point where we know what we're doing.
Well,
we're pro at this now, and we really enjoy Pandemic, and actually we can up the difficulty, and we're having a lot of fun with that. And I love Pandemic as a game, and Matt Leacock is one of my favourite designers. Pandemic The Cure, I don't know if you've played it, the dice game of Pandemic, we'll get it out. It's an amazingly good. I didn't know how well it would translate to a dice game, because it's very... Yeah, it sounds very weird, actually, when you say Pandemic, but it's with dice.
Pandemic, the dice game. Just makes...
it's very odd, but actually, the first time we got it out, we were thinking, okay, how much kind of peril is there going to be in this? And actually, you instantly see, this is Pandemic. This is tough. This is brutal. You die straight away.
But there are good mechanics.
But it's Pandemic.
Okay.
Like, you still feel like you're playing Pandemic. You've got to go here. You've got to cure this disease. You've got to treat this. Or, like, the way it works with dice. So you're like, okay, I need a sample of that cure. So I'm going to use one of my dice to take that out of the pool and keep that as a sample so I can then treat that later and make it easier for us to treat and things. And it was a brilliant version of that game. And I'm really glad I did buy it because it's a great game.
My friends... two of my best mates will... I don't know if they probably will, but generally they will not play Pandemic for a while. I took it over to them when I was still living in Glasgow, came over here, brought Pandemic with them, me, played it with them, played about 3 or 4 games in about an hour and a half because we lost every time, and they went, I like it, but I hate it, and I can't play it again.
I find with, I suppose with co-op games like this,
Pandemic
where-
set the marker for that, I think.
Because you play a game, and it really is luck of the draw.
Oh,
What happens is completely random, essentially.
we lost. My girlfriend and I played a game. We lost with one card left.
But they're the best games.
Like, we could win the game.
They're the
but
best
we ran out of
games.
cards.
And that's why I think it's so brilliantly designed, where it says on the box that it will take 45 minutes to play a whole game, and it really does, because it's right down to the wire, and that's why I love Pandemic so much. But no, it's the fact that you can introduce it to someone new. They've never played Pandemic before, and you're like, oh, it's a great game, it's co-op, we're all kind of saving the world together, and you lose horribly.
Yeah.
And that's not your fault. And then you go, okay, we'll try it again. You know what you're doing now. We'll try again, and you lose horribly. And maybe by then they're thinking, like, this isn't any fun. We're just losing a game constantly. And actually, I think, is that a downside to the game? I don't know. That actually, it might act as a deterrent for new players and things.
I think that might have rattled my friends a little bit, because it was kind of, they've played a lot of board games before, but it was just like...
A recent one that I mentioned in the previous podcast was the Arkham Horror LCG.
Yes.
So the first scenario of that core set is intended to be, a introductory game. This is the mechanics, this is how it works, this is the kind of thing you'll come across when you're playing through a campaign of this game. And I played it with someone, and we had a great time. We were getting guns, we were getting health packs, we were going through, storming this thing. You're in your house, there's ghouls in my house, we were shooting them, they were dead, it was great.
Hey, you get out of my house.
Exactly. And we finished the scenario with the best possible outcome. And then I played a game with someone else saying, oh, this is a great game, I really enjoyed this card game, it's completely new.
It's a refreshing
school of
formula
thought,
to
really, for what a
CCGs.
card game can be. And it was horrible. It was brutal. Everything we were doing was going really badly. All the checks we were trying to pass, we were failing miserably. And it was just like, and I was kind of saying, it's not always like this. And it's like...
But it's fine for you to say that it's not always like this.
No, exactly.
But you can't give that unless... Right, I
And
want to play again.
And that player kind of felt, I suppose, bogged down by the fact that actually it was a tough playthrough of that game. And really that did affect what you think of that game. And to an extent, you've got to put aside, okay, well, my playthrough wasn't great, but did I like the mechanics enough to play it again? Maybe, but actually that was tough as nails what we did. And that wasn't necessarily fun.
No.
Yeah, fair enough, we were playing a game and we were learning, but actually was it fun to sit there for an hour and a half and brutally be like being in the face to death by
In the face.
Lovecraft? No, it wasn't fun.
Not anyone. Just Lovecraft himself. Just pounding you again.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's wildly off topic. Yeah, Matt Leacock, Pandemic, Thunderbirds game,
Right.
Forbidden Desert.
Thunderbirds is something I really want to play. It's on my list.
We already talked about, yeah. We talked about it last podcast as well.
Did we?
Yeah.
I forget. Anyway,
No, we talked
I
about
really
it.
want to play Pandemic. Pandemic? I played
Pandemic?
Pandemic. I've got it.
I want to play Pandemic Iberia, the new one.
Yes.
Yeah, set in instead of the world, it's the Iberian Peninsula,
Now-
circa mid-1800s, something like that.
It
So
looks amazing.
you're traveling about Spain, and you're setting down railroads, you're improving sanitary conditions and hygiene conditions, and you're trying to solve... Whereas normal Pandemic, it's for diseases that are blue, red, yellow, and black.
Mm-hmm.
This one is like things like rheumatoid arthritis and scarlet fever and
Malaria
stuff.
and things
Yeah, malaria. So you've actually got names for them. So that adds a bit
Yeah,
of a weight.
and
that's
it's a
kinda
new
cool.
map, which I
That's a new map,
really
yes.
like this, because that's the one thing about Pandemic that kind of, to me, gets a bit old, is you're still constantly moving around the same map, and actually they could bring out map pack expansions for Pandemic, where it's like, oh, it's just North America now, and you've got a lot more stops, like they do for Ticket to Ride, maybe.
Yeah.
And that would completely change the game up. Obviously, there's balancing issues there that they'd have to work with, and it isn't as simple as just bringing out a new map. There's a lot of actually thinking about, okay, how does this work, that they've got to
I
think about.
trust him. I trust Matt Leacock. He
Yeah.
can do it, yeah. And Forbidden Desert looks like a good game. As you said, it's a deceptively brutal.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like an introductory game, which it kind of is, I suppose. It's a very simple game. Well, much like Pandemic is actually quite a simple game. But, no. And the art style and things in Forbidden Desert make it look a bit, I don't want to say childish, but young adult.
Okay.
Yeah? And I think that's very deceptive of it. Again, it's much like Pandemic, much like any co-op game, really, where it just is brutal to the players. So you start out pottering along in this desert, trying to uncover pieces of your broken
your pieces
spaceship,
flying
machine thing, yeah. And, you're getting somewhere, and then it really starts picking up. And you're like, right, we're really running against the clock here. Bad things are happening. Oh, no, that's covered in so much sand, I can't get through there. I've got to spend 2 of my turns picking away at this thing. And then it creeps up on you and you die. And it's horrible. Because also, because you're now a player with a health bar, essentially, where you're not in Pandemic. And once one person dies, the game's over. It's not like... I suppose as a group, you could just say, we're actually going to carry on when someone dies. And we're going to, stick it out and see what happens. But in the rule book, if one person dies, you lose the game. You need to get everyone off that desert.
Yep.
And it's good. It's really good. Again, there's definitely a time limit on it. I think a game might, again, be like 45 minutes or something. But I really, really, really enjoy Forbidden Desert.
I'll crack that open at some point soon because I'm interested in that.
Again, really worth mentioning. Cheap game.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And
I think I got it last year for £15. I'm going to check out Amazon now. Don't buy your games off of Amazon, people, but I'm just going to check Amazon.
Yes, it's a nice, not bad benchmark. But also, Forbidden Desert and its predecessor.
Okay, so it's out of print. It's £40 on Amazon.
Yep. So yeah, Forbidden Desert and its predecessor, Forbidden Island, have both won Mensa Select Awards.
Okay.
So brainy people very much like them.
The only other thing I've seen that actually won that award is Suburbia.
Oh, you
don't know if you played that. That's a city building game.
I haven't, but I've seen one made by the same company, which I very much enjoy. Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Of course, I've played that. I forgot that won that award.
Yeah, I like it.
Nice games.
Nice game. What?
Nice games.
Yeah, nice games.
Both games. Suburbia, city building. Played it because my girlfriend really likes city builders. Had a quite fun time. Again, you're kind of... It's a bit Euro-y. You're kind of playing your own game, building your own city, but it's enjoyable enough.
Yeah. Castle of Mad King Ludwig, Castle Builder.
They're actually very similar games, to be honest.
Yeah.
You're building a castle, trying to get the right combinations of rooms. In Suburbia, you're trying to get the right tiles to put next to each other. You want parks next to housing. You don't want them next to factories, similar kind of ideas,
Castle Mad King
really.
Ludwig, you're getting bonuses if certain rooms are connecting to others. You're getting certain negatives if some particular types of rooms are connecting to others. Not even connecting if they're touching walls. I love Castle Mad King Ludwig. I think it's great. Also, if I'm ever GMing a D&D game, might be quite good having a random
it'd be
dungeon
very
crawl.
nice.
Yeah.
Hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. Oh, you're in a room. It turns out to be a hall of mirrors. And I've got a little thing. I quite like the idea.
Could be very nice.
Yeah. The other thing I got is what I am very excited about.
Oh, I know about this. I'm
I
very
know you
excited
haven't because
about
I've been
this.
talking about nothing else, and also I put the picture up when I got it. Captain Sonar.
I can't wait.
I cannot bloody wait.
So Captain Sonar, if people don't know, is a real-time version of battleships.
Sort of.
Really.
So the best way to play it, it's recommended. It says 2 to 8. Play with 8. What is, there are 2 teams of 4, and you're each controlling a submarine on a map. Now, each team has a captain who decides where the boat goes, a first mate who charges systems, be it weapons or sonar or silent running is one of the things you can do. You have the engineer who's basically breaking the ship every time you move and trying to
move cost you a part of your ship. Is that
yes,
right?
Yeah. I'll explain it in a minute. And the 4th member of the team is a radio operator. The radio operator, very simply, listens to what the opposing captain is saying. So all the other captain is saying is going heading north, heading east, heading north, heading west. In
a 2-player game, is that rule redundant?
No.
Okay, how does that work then?
Because you're still playing turn and turn apart.
But
either way,
you are both the captain and the navigator.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, but remember, you're listening to the opposing captain.
Yeah.
The radio operators listen to the opposing captain. They have a sheet of acetate film or a sheet of plastic, and they're drawing the route that they hear. And then they're sliding this over the map.
I see what you mean.
And they're working out where the opponent could be. Now, I've played this very brief. I played a 2-player game. There's the option to play it either real time or turn by turn. Yeah. I've played a 2-player turn-by-turn game with my girlfriend.
Because I take it in 2-player, it doesn't really work in real time necessarily.
Wouldn't really work in real time, no. Turn by turn, it makes the board smaller. The systems are easier to charge. There's less things to worry about, breaking and engineering.
Okay.
So it's kind of simplifies the game a little bit. Again, it's a good starter. It's tense. It's good fun. She wiped the floor with me. You have 4 damage before you sink. She hit me with 2 direct torpedo hits. I did not hurt her at all. The HMS Magikarp lived up to its name. Yes.
No, it sounds like a great game. I can't wait to get it. I think when we do get it on the table, we are planning 8-player real time.
The plan is 8-player. I might suggest we try it turn-based the first time around for people to understand how the game goes.
Get the mechanics.
Yeah. So going back
how long does a game take? Is it kind of between...
I'm going to say, it's probably about 20 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
2
an hour though.
2 an hour. It might be slightly shorter than that. But
Fair
we played, for the first time of us both kind of going, what are we doing? It took about 40 minutes to an hour to play.
That's not too bad though.
That's not too bad.
That's really good.
That was the first map, turn by turn, so it's much smaller.
40 minutes I think is great base time for a game.
Oh yeah. So engineering, you were talking about, so whenever you move, north, south, east or west, you have a little panel that has icons relating to the systems within the submarine.
Yeah.
So it's weapons, it's sonar, it's silent running, special stuff. Whenever you move, you choose one of them, it breaks. And you can't use that system until it's repaired.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
How do you repair things?
I was about to say. Some of the systems are grouped in sets of 4. So you might have 3 grouped in north and 1 in west, for example. If you manage to break down all 4 of them in that same link, it auto repairs and they all...
Okay, so can you just focus on just constantly knocking out sonar?
You could consistently knock out sonar, but you've got maybe 1 or 2
But you will need it.
You might need it at some point because the sonar abilities are very helpful.
And isn't there also the time where you say, right, we know where they are, fire, and the engineer just goes, we haven't got any weapons?
It could be that, yes. It could be that. The situation I thought I knew where my girlfriend was. Turns out I was completely wrong. But even if I was completely right, I couldn't have fired because I'd chosen early on in the game to knock out one of my weapon systems.
Yeah.
And I'd knocked out everything else, and I needed to go, I think it was east. And I couldn't go east because I was currently traveling west. And the one thing you can't do in this game is go back over your own line if you're the captain. Think of it like Snake in that regard.
Yeah.
You can't go back on your own line at all. So I was buggered. The only thing I could do was I could surface. Now, surfacing, so the captain kind of goes loud and clear. Right, okay, I am surfacing. You have to say which sector you're in. Like, I'm surfacing in sector 3. You rub out all the damage you've done to not damage you've taken, but all the broken systems.
Yeah. So you fix your ship completely?
Fix ship completely. If it's playing real time, every member of the crew then has to do a little line drawing game around part of the outline of the submarine. If you're playing turn by turn, the opponent gets 3 turns in a row.
Oh.
Yeah. She knew where I was. I was surfaced. She turned around, hit me dead on with a torpedo.
When you surface, you don't say where you are, you just say what quadrant you're in.
You said what sector you're in, yeah.
And does that also mean you can rub out where you've been?
Yes, you rub out your line so you can start fresh, which is quite interesting. The other ways you can repair things which are less good is that if you knock out all the systems in one particular sector, you'll take a damage to your hull, but you repair everything.
Cool.
There are also, depending on which one, there's about 4 or 5 little radiation symbols. They're not connected to a 4 chain. You can cross them off. They're fine. They won't do anything wrong. If you knock out all 4 of them or 5 of them, you'll take damage. Imagine it's like the reactor's gone critical.
Yeah.
So I think the engineer is probably one of the harder ones.
Yep.
Because you've got to kind of go, and if it's in real time, it's like, because the captain goes, head north. The first mate charges a system. They choose, or they might kind of suggest with the captain. The engineer chooses one to knock out. They both have to do that and go, right, we're okay, before the captain can move on.
Meanwhile, that person said head north. The opposite team's navigator is telling their team's captain, they've headed north.
Yeah, or they'll put it down and they're going to go in, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, as the opponent's submarine trail gets longer and longer, you're going to be able to work out where they are.
Yeah.
So it's that tenseness, and also at the same time, if you're surfaced in real time, it's not 3 turns in a row. It's as long as it takes for you guys to do this line drawing, hand it over to the opposing engineer, and for them to go, yeah, that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while in that time, it depends on how quick the other team is. They could be going, I think I know where they are. Let's get them. Move. So they could have moved 5 times by the time you're done. They could have moved once. It entirely depends. But you are a sitting duck. Mm-hmm. And that's what you've got to worry about.
See, this is what I really like about these real-time co-op games, is that, again, it's something that's come up throughout this episode, is alpha gaming. It completely eliminates that. You haven't got time to tell people what to do. You're in your own role, and that's your priority. You're just like engineer. You're doing your own thing. No one else is telling you what to kill because they haven't got time to.
The captain might be going, I want you doing this. I want you doing this. But it's like, I want to go north. It's the engineer can turn around and go, Captain, we cannot go north. If we do, we're going to take damage. Yeah. Or, it's like, fire torpedoes. We haven't got torpedoes charged yet.
And this is something Eric Lang kind of did in XCOM last year. 2 years ago now. Beginning of 2015 that came out. And that was kind of a real-time game. Each person plays a role, part of the XCOM.
We talked about it last podcast.
Government, yeah. And you haven't got time to tell people what you're doing.
No. I can understand there could be situations for it, like people can start arguing. No. One of the reasons I asked my girlfriend to play it because she is not a huge fan of social deduction games, hidden role, didn't seem that quite interesting Captain Sonar. Mm-hmm. And I played it with her just because I wanted to try it out because I've been waiting for this for a long time. A long time. You're all probably sick of me talking about it.
No, I can't wait to play
it. And she said she really liked it. And that was great. I was like, yeah, getting through. But she went, I wouldn't want to play it real time with more people. I went, why? She went, I like being in control of everything.
But that's okay.
Yes, it is.
And I like the fact that it gives you those 2 options.
Yeah, I think the fact that you can turn about is fantastic.
Do you get a lot of stuff in the box as well? Because you get lots of maps, don't you?
The entire game obviously each submarine gets an engineer's map, an engineer's chart, first mate's chart.
And that's always going to be the same.
That's always going to be the same. There are 5 maps included in the box. Mm-hmm. So that's 5 copies each for navigator, for radio operator and captain. So it's 10 maps?
Yep.
For one team, so about 20 odd maps for them.
But it's 5 different scenarios.
5 different scenarios. It's not really scenarios. It's just 5 different configurations of
the game. Yeah.
There's more. Some of them have more open sea, so it's much harder to
track them. Some of them have ice, right?
One of them, which looks really great, is the setting is under an ice cap, or in Arctic waters, Antarctic.
And there's only certain points you can surface.
There are 3 or 4 ice holes.
So when someone surfaces, you know exactly where.
Yeah, if you say I'm surfacing in sector 4, you're like, well, they're definitely there. Let's hurry up after them.
Yeah.
That's the only place you can surface without taking damage. Mm-hmm. The 5th one, there's a 6th system you can charge, and the first mate is called Scenario. Mm-hmm. So far, the 5th map is the only one which has it, which there are mines pre-laid on the map.
Cool.
And if you charge up the scenario system, you can just go, right, I'm detonating a mine here.
And that could
knacker them, it might not. Of course, you can lay your own mines and stuff.
But they've left a lot of room for it to be expanded and
absolutely. I mean,
scenarios to come out, maps to come out, and it sounds really good. I'm really liking the sound of it.
They've already released, because as promo maps, they've released a couple for...
Because it came out at Gen Con.
It was Gen Con. It pretty much sold out.
And it was really hard to get.
Yep.
But I take it's now
it's more printing.
Had a new print run.
But they brought out promo maps for Chicago, for New York. So you've got the Hudson River and you've got the lake and stuff, which is quite cool. And they've also brought out a new one which has bigger islands and stuff. I think it's called
cool.
It's called Foxtrot map because it's the 6th official map. Mm-hmm. I cannot bloody wait to play this.
I'm really
honestly, and even that playing,
and
I was like,
we will have played it by the next podcast.
Oh, we absolutely will. I mean, I was always really worried about, I've been waiting this for ages. What if it turns out to be rubbish? Mm-hmm. And even playing that 2-player, and even though the mighty HMS Magikarp is now sitting at the bottom of the ocean. I still love that. It was still.
Well, I can't wait for it.
It's gonna be
so fun.
So yeah, that was the ones games I got and games I played this Christmas.
Cool. I think that's really all we've really got time for, apart from
Oh come on, oh no, what about yours?
Pandemic.
Oh, are we able to talk very quickly about your pragmatic Spyfall?
Oh, we can. We will. So yeah, very quickly. We were sat there on New Year's Eve. New Year's night. It was now something like 3:30 in the morning. And we were like, okay, let's make a game. And we ended up making Werewolf, as everyone always does. You know, I don't actually know anyone who owns a copy of Werewolf. You just always make it.
I got a couple of mates who own a copy of Werewolf or One Night Werewolf.
Which is what we played.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed that.
I was very impressed.
A new way of doing Werewolf, One Night. Very interesting. The deduction kind of side of it was really interesting. And big thumbs up for me. I think I'd definitely, next time we play Werewolf in a big group, I'd definitely suggest doing the one night version. Just because it's something different. You know, you haven't got that kind of player elimination.
It also takes much less time.
Yeah.
Because I was introduced to this when I was very small at Scouts, and it was the original one. It was everyone go to sleep and lots of player information. But now playing One Night, I'm like, I don't know if I want to play the long one ever again.
I would. What I really like about the first one is the amount you can really get into your role.
I guess.
And you can really role play it, and you can be your town and get these relationships, and you can spend half an hour in a game of Werewolf, and you can really go deep into it, and it's really fun.
That's right.
However, for a quick little game that is still very much Werewolf, I think One Night was brilliant. But anyway, Spyfall.
So I can talk very quick.
You can.
I'm sorry. I know I keep saying we wanted to do Spyfall, but I need to talk about this very quick. Because not only did I play One Night Werewolf, I played One Night Vampire.
Okay.
Which is a lot of similarities, but they also introduce what are known as marks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's little kind of tokens. So everyone starts off with a mark of clarity, and then the powers that people have is like you can give people, like if you're a vampire, you give them the mark of the vampire. They become a vampire. You give them, if you have an assassin, you give them the mark of the assassin.
Cool.
If they die, you win. That kind of stuff.
Oh.
So it is interesting. You can have the cleric who can give. You can give yourself a mark of clarity and someone else a mark of clarity. So obviously, best laid plans can just out. And that was really interesting because it gave you two things to think about. And it's like, okay, who set me up? Okay, so I've got the mark of assassin. Okay, the first person to accuse me, I'm pretty sure was the assassin.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's them. And then you've got your other role. And then we combined the two. One Night Werewolf and One Night Werewolf and Vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mental. And I actually kind of preferred it that way because you've got your card from Werewolf and Vampire, but you've got the mark as well, which adds another extra layer of it.
Yeah.
I like that extra complexity, that extra depth to it.
Sounds nice.
It was good. Also, that app that you can get with the guy with the best voice ever.
And I think that's a free app as well.
Is it?
Which is absolutely brilliant. And again, personally, I don't know anyone who owns a copy of Werewolf. You don't need to. Just go online, find the roles you want to use, and just write them on pieces of paper and just draw them out for hand.
Yeah. Little girl is OP. Little girl. Some variations of the game, there's a little girl who can peek.
You can just watch.
Yeah, but if you're caught, you die automatically.
Still.
I still say the little girl's OP.
It is crazy.
Yeah. So, sorry.
So anyway, we played Werewolf. Played Werewolf, and then we were looking for another game to play. I think we were thinking about playing Love Letter. We were thinking of playing Trivial Pursuit. It was about to come out again at 3:30 in the morning, but it didn't. And I took a load of paper, took a load of cards, put sticky notes on playing cards, and started making Spyfall. Which worked. And I said to everyone, take 4. There was 5 of us, so you need 1 spy card, and then 4 cards for the locations. Yeah. I said take 4 cards, take 4 sticky notes, write locations on them, and then write a
job or something like that.
Write a job or someone who would be at that location. So we ended up having about a good few locations, maybe 12 locations.
Were there any interesting ones that you might not get from normal Spyfall?
Now this is the great thing. So we didn't have the reference sheet, and I didn't really tell people what were in the original game, because obviously when you're playing the game, you've got a sheet listed of all the different locations you could be at. Spyfall, by the way, is a
it's a hidden role game.
Hidden role game, deduction game, where Very simple. I'm just going to explain it very quickly. Is everyone gets given a card. That card will say a location, say hotel, and your job there or why you're there. So it might say customer at the hotel. Or it might say receptionist at the hotel. Or it might say cleaner.
One person has a card that simply says spy.
Now, in a round, you have maybe an 8-minute timer going for something like a 6-player game. And if I go first, I ask, Jamie, why did you come to work today? And he answers with one sentence reply, and then he asks someone else a question. And you can't ask a question to the person who's just asked you a question, and then it just goes on like that. And everyone knows where you are, apart from the spy. And no one knows who the spy is. You don't know who anyone else is. You don't know who else works at the hotel with you. But you're trying to ask the question that would give to you that, yeah, they're at the hotel. They know they're at the hotel.
Or they might go, no, I don't believe you're actually working here.
And then at any point you can say, stop the timer, I think Jamie's the spy.
And you got me.
If there isn't a consensus, there has to be a unanimous vote saying, yeah, we think Jamie's the spy. If it is, he flips over and goes, oh, you're the spy, and everyone playing wins. If not, he flips it over and the spy wins. Mm-hmm. Alternatively, at any point during the game, the spy can go, stop the clock, I think we're in the space station. And everyone goes, no, we're at an ice cream factory. Or things like that. So anyway, I had everyone kind of make up their own ones. So we had things like library, lecture hall, hotel was one of them. I did the space station. I was like the space station from the original game. We had the Death Star.
Oh, that's excellent.
We had, this is the great one. I was a spy for this. And it turned out, and I got it. I said we were in like a computer programming lab or something, and they gave it to me. We were in an internet cafe.
Ooh.
Because the roles on the card were things like meme lord and like XX hacker XX. There was an there was a web page designer, but still. But no, it was great, and we just kind of threw in a load of randomness. A great one that came up was florist.
Ooh.
Florist, and the guy who was asking me a question, or people thought I was the spy, and I wasn't. I was the till
operator.
Till operator, and I was like, why do they think I'm the spy? And everyone was kind of getting to the conclusion, yeah, this guy's the spy, Sam's the spy. And I'm just thinking, but I'm really not. And they're going to call me out being the spy and we're going to lose the game. So there was one guy who was the manager, I suppose. It'd come out that, okay, I suppose you're my boss. Like, because it was like...
a question that kind of got that dynamic.
Yeah, and the things he was saying was like, I run the place. It's like, okay, either you're the spy or you're my boss. So, and yeah, we were florists, and he was like, right, Sam's definitely the spy. I think Sam's the spy. And I'm just thinking, oh, I'm really not. What can I ask him to prove I'm not the spy? Like, what can I say that says florist without saying flop? And I said, you know what we're selling? They're only priced as if I'm selling 10 of them. Do I have to change the price if I'm selling 9? And he was like, cool, Sam's not the spy. Right. Because
good, yeah. Good transition.
But no, Spyfall was a great game, and we played about, easily an hour of Spyfall.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, it was 5 of us, so not a huge group, but still very... you got 4 people who still know where you are and 1 guy who doesn't. And I think that's a really good dynamic there. I think 5 was a really nice number.
I mean, I've only ever really played Spyfall with you and a bunch of other people at...
but we've also played a full game as well of 8 people.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, it was 8, wasn't it?
Which is absolutely hilarious.
I tell you what, no, the one that always sticks with me is our one, and... Your girlfriend was the police. It was the spy, and it was a police station.
I know this.
Because someone was a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Someone was a suspect.
Yeah.
And there's some like other people like beat cop and desk sergeant and stuff. And it got into the situation where a lot of the questions revolved around, are you more of an upstairs or downstairs kind of person? Referring to the cells or the actual desks.
But,
And
that's what I love about Spyfall. It just develops into that kind of thing where you're just answering silly questions, and it works so beautifully well. I know that there is a new version out, Spyfall 2.
Spyfall 2, which is exactly the same game, just different places.
It also introduces another spy,
yes.
which could be very interesting, because obviously those spies don't know who each other are.
Yes.
It could be very fun.
Yes. As with a lot of party games, because it is a party game, I think the most important thing is people you're playing with.
By far.
By far. Because when I have played Spyfall once, at one time before, if you know the game, there is one scenario which is so completely removed from everywhere else. Literally, it's a Crusader army.
I love it though.
Now, I was playing a 4-player game. One person turned to another one, wasn't me. I was a spy. And they went, right, what do you prefer, the old gate or the new gate? I went, new gate. And I just completely blanked this, went, Jimmy, the spy, aren't you? I went, yes, what the hell was that?
But that's the thing about Spyfall, it just completely baffles people.
I know, it was such a specific one. And then we got the pirate ship, and then my mate was like, oh, I've always wanted to do this. Without even the game starting, the spy went, on a pirate ship, aren't you? It's like, what?
Spyfall is amazing. If you have a large group of people, go out and get it. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's all we've really got time for.
Plays up to 8. Should have won the Spiel des Jahres this year, but let's not get into that. Let's save that for another
We are going to talk about that
yes, we will.
in the future. Anyway, it's time to move on to our weekly segment, Pandemic. So this week I have a joke.
Okay, you've written this joke.
Have you got one at all?
I do.
Do you want to go first? Because I want to build up to mine. I wrote this. This is mine.
No, this is yours. Yep. As always.
So
until I say otherwise, I got these off Reddit and BGG forums. Thank you to everyone who did that. They don't know it, but I'm crediting you anyway. Sam. Mm-hmm. I say, Sam. What kind of games do witches play?
I do not know. What kind of games do witches play?
Anything hex-based.
Oh, I do like that. I really like that. That was good. Do we have a username for that person?
I'm afraid I don't.
That's fine. No problem. Right, mine.
Go on. I cannot wait for this.
I wrote this.
Go on.
I need to kind of phrase it in my head. You better get this. It works in my head.
Oh, God. I've got so much pressure now. On you go.
Why did the Meeple take a year out of uni?
I don't know. Why did the Meeple take a year out of uni?
Worker placement. Is it good? Is it good? It works, right?
It works.
That's from my head.
Dear, I don't know if this... Oh, yeah.
Because it's like work placement.
Yeah, no, I get it.
A work
Don't
placement,
dissect the joke.
Worker placement games.
No, if you dissect the joke, it's like dissecting a frog. Nobody laughs and the frog dies.
That's all we've got time for. This has been the Meeple People podcast.
Yes.
I've been Sam.
And I've been Jamie.
Remember to check us out on Facebook at Meeple People Podcast. On YouTube, you might be hearing this, but also now SoundCloud, we're on as Meeple People Podcast.
We're diversifying. And also, if you want to send us any messages, send us any emails, send us any things about games, or think we're talking absolute bollocks, please let us know at meeplepeople.podcast@gmail.com. That's meeplepeople.podcast it's meeplepeople.podcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Bye. Happy New Year.